Hello everyone, I am Gyan and you are learning computer science with Python for class 11th. In this video we are going to learn about comments in Python. Comments in Python. What is comment and how it is useful in Python? Let's see it. Here in the previous video we have written this code. If you write a complicated code in Python or in any programming language, a complicated code is always hard to understand if you read the same code in later date. Means your own written code will be very hard to understand for you because while programming, actually you code the logic. The human minds are not that used to of thinking in the terms of programming language. Okay, therefore, whenever you see the code in the later date, whenever you see your own written code in a later date, it will hard for you to understand that code. Or if someone else look at your code, then this will be very hard for that person to understand your written code. So what you have to do is, you have to write something called comment in your Python code. Comment means just write here. What I'm going to do here is, I will just write here something in the English for my own reference or for someone else's. Okay, that means if I write here summation of A and B will be stored in C. I want to write something like this. Okay, but this statement is not for the Python interpreter. The Python interpreter should not read this statement. This is for the reference of human being who is reading this code in some later date. Therefore, I have to make this statement as a comment. To make this statement as a comment, you should write here hash. If you write here hash, any statement starting with hash is called a comment. When a statement is comment, then that statement will not be interpreted by the Python interpreter. And the Python interpreter will ignore this statement. Now this statement is just for the user's reference, for humans reference. Okay, just save it and execute it. This statement will not affect the execution. Okay, because this statement is just meaningless for the Python interpreter. This statement is meaningful for the human beings, but this statement is meaningless for the Python interpreter. So here is the use of comments. Okay, so comments are additional readable information which is read by the programmers but ignored by the Python interpreter. In Python, comments begins with this hash symbol. This symbol is called hash, hash hash, or pound, pound. So this symbol is called either pound or hash, pound, pound, hash hash. Now suppose that I want to write a comment which is not only in just one line. I want to write a comment which is in multiple lines. Okay, so such comments are called multi-line comments. Okay, so I'm writing here, I am not a single line comment but a multi-line comment. So this is a multi-line comment. This should not be interpreted by the Python interpreter. If I write here a single hash, then only one line will be commented out, other line will not be commented out. Therefore, Python interpreter will ignore this line, but Python interpreter will try to read this line, and that will cause an error. Let's try to run it, save it, Ctrl S, and then run model, and it says invalid syntax because this is the invalid syntax for Python. So I can write another hash here. It will execute fine now. Run module, it runs fine. But now we do not have one multi-line comment, but we have two single line comments. Okay, I want to have one multi-line comment. Okay, I don't want to put hash in the beginning of every line. Okay, I want these two lines to come under a single comment. To do that, just remove this hash and type here triple single quote and type here triple single quote. We already have learned about string in Python. You know that the meaning of triple single quote. Okay, that means what we are doing here is we just made this line as a string whose reference is not stored in any variable. That's how this string becomes unusable. Okay, because I am creating a string whose reference is not stored anywhere. So this string becomes unusable. And this string is treated as multi-line comment in Python. Here, this statement will not ignored by the Python interpreter. But the Python interpreter also does not have to do anything with this string because reference to this string is not stored anywhere. Okay, so to create a multi-line comment in Python, just make it as a string. Such multi-line string is also called DocString. Means you have created a string whose reference is not stored in any variable is called DocString. This multi-line comment is also called DocString. This multi-line comment is also called block comment. Block comment. So whatever I am writing in between these two triple quotes, everything is comment, and compiler will almost ignore whatever is written in between two triple quotes. Instead of using two triple quotes, you can use two triple double quotes also, like quote, 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 and quote, quote, quote. This also works as multi-line string. So hopefully now you know what the single line comment and multi-line comments are. Comments are used for the human readers of a code. Comments are not for the Python interpreter. To understand a Python code in a later date, you should always use proper comments in the Python code. So that's all for this video. See you in the next video.